Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Dear students, today we are going to start our lecture 3 on entrepreneurship. In this lecture, we'll be talking about generating and evaluating business ideas and turning them into business opportunity. So buckle up. Today we're going to have a very exciting lecture on this concept, like how you can develop ideas and where to look for the ideas in your personal life and your daily life. Okay, the learning objectives for today's session would be to describe systematic means for examining skills in order to generate new business ideas, discuss the elements of opportunity analysis, analyze how to choose a business, and like this is a startup idea, Nongfu spring waters. You already got this video. I've already shared it in the recorded lectures. Unfortunately, I will not be able to play it, but I can give you the basic concept about it. And then at the end, we will be talking about our lesson from some famous entrepreneur. Okay, so this will like help us to link like your basic motivation to take this course. Basically, you are interested to take this entrepreneurship course, that how you can link it with your personal life. Okay, so I'll share the next chapter as well. Okay, so what happened is that today in this lecture we're going to unfold like how and where you should look for entrepreneurial ideas. Okay, so we'll be providing you with suggestions approach to develop a quality business idea. So first you'll have to list and evaluate your own personal skills and serves. So that's why I will need for you to be actively communicating with me through your messages, and then carefully analyze the market and look for the gaps and what are the unmet needs in the gaps. Then you'll compare the ability how you can fulfill these gaps and opportunities. Okay, so let's move on to this next slide. Okay, so may I ask you, what are your hobbies and activities? Because hobbies and activities, they give a huge foundation for an entrepreneurial startup. So each hobby develops a specific skills. Okay, students, can I ask you, what are your hobbies? So that we can try to link out like what could be your potential entrepreneurial idea would look like. Please share your hobbies. Okay, reading and swimming, that's very good. What kind of readings? Okay, again, reading and swimming and sports. Okay, so we need to dig deep into like what kind of readings you are involved. Swimming, are you a professional swimmer, or how do you rank yourself as a swimmer? And then sports, as what kind of sports are you? Could you please be more specific? What do you prefer to read? Like what kind of? Okay, fictional. Okay, I read novels and fictional. Okay, that sounds good. So how do you think like these fictionals, if you're using some AI, artificial intelligence, and you develop fictional small movies, and you just make your own channel and you just share because you must be getting many fictional ideas. Are you able to develop some fictional ideas? Okay, yes. So you can conceptualize things, yeah. You can. So that would be interesting for you if you just have you ever tried to write down these ideas with yourself? Can you write the dialogues? Or you can, if somebody asks you to write a novel, a small like script for like 1 to 2 pages, can you do that? Do you gets lots of ideas in your daily life? Just text me yes or no, okay? I mean to say like, because the people that read novels and the fictions, they can also think, because their uh, creativity goes to a next level, so they can also, if somebody asks them to write a novel, they can do it. Like they can write a couple of pages, they can develop a story. Can you do that? Yes, that's the point which we was trying to make. Okay, so yeah, that's the point. So trying to link back to our today's lecture, like then you need to be asking these questions to yourself, like what hobbies or activities do you pursue on an active basis, perhaps daily basis, and over your lifetime? What excites you about these hobbies and activities? What specific skills do they require? What have you learned that would help others? Okay, so when you were talking about these fiction novels and things like that, did you see like there are certain channels in which they just summarize the book for you, or they summarize? Uh, Nowadays, I was just looking that they have some what you call it, podcast, and in these podcasts they summarize the whole novel or book. Do you know this idea? So if you can do that, you will be getting lots of followers. They might who are not able to, or who are planning to buy a book. So they might refer to your book, and they might be interested to see your reviews. So you can also give the reviews about novels. Would you be fascinating this? Would you like to be pursuing it? Does it sounds like interesting to you? How about if you just open a YouTube channel on which whatever novel you read, you're just summarizing and sharing your feedback on this. I like this novel. I did not like this novel. This novel was very strong on this, and this novel is not only strong. And these are the weak points, or rather, I would have seen the hero to be doing this. Does it fascinate you or not? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So what products or services did you use? So obviously, do you use like the hardcover books, or do you read them online? Okay, both sounds good. Okay, now moving on to the next slide. This would also going to help us to shortlist some of the entrepreneurial ideas that we can look from the educational perspective. So opportunities that use education, formal or informal, and other sources of business. How and what type of questions you should be asking to yourself? First one is, what courses did you particularly enjoy? Sometimes students, they just enjoy some particular courses, even though they do not get like high marks in it, or because you see many times there has been lots of focus on the science subjects, but the art subjects, sometimes student can be more fascinating toward the art subjects. So try to dig into your life and see which subjects fascinate you the most. What courses did you take where the material come to you very easily? Okay, another way of looking at it is like when you are studying which subject you when you're studying, it's just you get so much passionate, you do not know like how much time is being passed, and you cannot realize how much time you spent on the subject. Is there any kind of subject? Please share with me. Please share the subject name which fascinates you the most. I'm asking like the subject that you like the most. Can you please give me the name of the subject? Okay, international finance. That's very nice. Okay, have you attended any unusual education programs? Like, have you taken specialization trainings? If you had to do it all over again, what areas would you pursue now? Okay, so object-oriented programming. So that's also a fascinating one. And international finance, a design analysis of algorithm. Okay, so let's see the third dimension, and we'll try to see the work experience. In each job, individuals build skills that they have taken them with them when they start a business. So obviously you guys, most of you are students, so you might not have a work experience, but in work experience, we learn many things that can also help us to be a successful entrepreneur. So in what business have you worked for? So we'll have to look at the background of the individual. What skills were critical to the jobs you performed? What positions have you held in the business? And in what areas would you be considered a type of expert? What did you really enjoy and what frustrated you about the positions you hold? Okay, when were you the most excited about your work? So these are the dimensions that can help you to identify your own personal nature, and this will tell you like what you have learned, what are your skills, or probably there may be a question like what is that for your skills, other been always referring to you, they were coming to you and asking help about you, you know. So work experience can also help you to identify your future entrepreneurial venture. Now, the family background also matters a lot. You'll see that most of the time, the people who are entrepreneur, they have many family members. They are also entrepreneur. So, if the family experiences are often overlooked sources of skills for a new business, does your family history include a new business ventures? Yeah, like your father, your mother, or your uncle, or your family-owned business, like your grandfather had a business. What types of travel and vacation does your family enjoy? And when you are going on traveling and doing vacations quite a lot, often you come across many problems. And if you try to overcome those problems, that is your business idea. What skill set exists when you within your nuclear family? So sometimes your family is like all of them, they are adventurous. Your father likes you to go and experience new things, to start take risks. They encourage you to go and play like if you are girls, your parents are encouraging you to go do sports and things like that. What are the financial resources of your extended family? Like if somebody belongs to a poor family, their financial resources will be limited, but if somebody belongs to a rather rich family, they will have good resources, so they can also initiate business easily as compared to someone who doesn't belong to that kind of a family. So are these unique things your family does that others seems very interesting? So for example, if you are a frequent traveler, so people will be looking at you like, oh, this is very cool family, they are traveling a lot, and that makes an interesting business idea. You can develop adventure club, and you can develop some tourism company, and you can help facilitate people, because many people, if they are not frequent travelers, they will not be able to understand the dynamics, and sometimes people consider it's very expensive, and people who are very frequent travelers, they know like which areas are worth visiting and which are the hotels where to stay, and which hotels are good, which are expensive, and things like that. So this experience can help them too, and this can be an interesting business idea as well. What skills do you develop in your family activities? Especially in the joint families, you have to organize events, and that also helps you to develop event management skills. Okay, now moving on to the family. Your family can be a great help in developing a business. As I told you, if you belong to a pacifist kind of a family, they would not encourage you to take risks. But if you belong to a family that encourages risk, that can be a plus for your entrepreneurship. What are some of the risks and rewards that you associate with the idea of working with your family? Okay, so working with a family can be a challenge. Like I remember Jack Ma, as we already talked about him in the previous lectures as well. Jack Ma, who is the CEO of Alibaba. He was talking a very funny thing about the family, and that is true. He says the only people that trust you are the people they don't know, and the only people they will not trust you will be very close ones and relatives and families members, you know. And he says the unknown people, they will trust your products and services, they will give you business, and then when you become successful, your family members will come and they will say, okay, let's celebrate. So when there is a celebration, your unknown customers that have trusted you, they are nowhere around you. Okay, having said this, but it also depends the kind of a family. If the family is encouraging, motivating, and they might be making a difference in your life. Okay, additional skills that you should be looking for is you should ask yourself these questions. First one, what are your top 3% skills? So sometimes there can be someone who is very good in public speaking, or then they should look for like what kind of businesses I can go into. Okay, or if somebody is he is very good in sports and skills. What things do you like doing best each day, each week? So if you jot down these, if you write down with yourself, this will tell you like the priorities in your life and the skill set that you are developing over the period of time. In the past year, which one or two things did you enjoy the most? Then what are the magazines and books you read? What podcast do you regularly listen to? What are the 3 greatest accomplishments? And what skills were involved in these accomplishments that you achieved? Do you enjoy working with people or alone? And this is going to tell you about your personality. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? In what industry, retail or wholesale, manufacturing or service industry, would you like to work? So that will also tell us about your personality. Okay, more questions. Like you should have a goal is to explore the range of potential skills and abilities each of us possess. So as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made each one of us different than others, we have to identify what is that is unique in me that other people don't have. Do you prefer to work with people or not? Do you have an intense detail orientation? Like, do you understand the things? Like, are you the one who is, when he see or she sees something, she goes into detail, she want to see like how this thing was started, what is the reason, and what are different compositions? Like if you're buying a new mobile phone, do you go and research each and every mobile phone, or are you just a casual kind of a person? Are you trained in the area in which you work for or you want to work? And then how quickly and easily can you change? And this can also define one of your leadership capabilities. Sometimes people are so adamant they don't want to change. As I share with you, Steve Jobs once he said that a good leader should have the capability to see the things like the product idea that he would have. He must have like 1,000 designs in his mind, so that uh, sometimes your idea that is in your mind is not practicable and cannot be done. So you have to be able to change this idea is not practicable and cannot be done. So you have to be able to change this idea. If you just stick to the initial idea, you will not be able to get the desired outcomes. So according to him, one of the skills that a leader should have is he must have 1,000 different business ideas or product ideas with whom he can interchange, and should go for the realistic one, not just the ideal things. Now you'll have to link your personal skills or your hobbies with the gap in the industry. So relatively simple process of systematically examining the differences or gap between what is expected and what occurs. Like type. Opportunity analysis examines opportunities in the marketplace side by side with the individual's ability to address those gaps. Okay, so there is like lots of market gaps. Obviously, we cannot fill all those gaps. So you should always concentrate on the skills and abilities that we have. So basically, it's like we have to link our skills and abilities with the market gap. What are the ways to identify these gaps? First one is examine the trends. So what are the latest trends that are happening around the world? Can somebody write me the trends? What are the trends? What is happening around us? Can you please write down? Can you, if I ask you to see how these young children nowadays, they spend their time, do they spend time more on mobile phones? Yes, they're spending more time on, yes, they're spending more time in front of the television. And how the like family life is being going on, like the husband and wife both are working, yes, and then they might have their particular needs, like they might need ready to eat meat. So if the children are too much exposed to the media, then they might be having some health issues as well. And what is happening, like in the technology, it is moving toward AI. So how the AI is going to develop, shape the future, that should be a question. So basically, we'll have to see the social trends, the economic trends, like where the world is moving, how like the world is shaping, because there have been wars in the world as well. So which countries are being in focus nowadays, which countries are going to be successful in future, which countries might be facing some problems. So these are different trends that we need to be looking into. Then we need to interview key successful local entrepreneurs. And these local entrepreneurs will give you a real insight, because sometimes when we are thinking of ideas, we are so passionate, but we do not take into account the realistic expectations. Then we'll discuss ideas with the family members. Family members are your honest, true well-wishers. But I was listening to one of the guru in the field. They said, don't discuss this to your family and friends, because they will discourage you. And it's not like they are not your well-wishers, but probably they cannot see the big picture. So probably they may not be the right individual to ask this question. Again, coming back to this, it's a better idea to discuss with the local entrepreneur. But having said this, if your family is encouraging and there was someone who are already in the business background, they might understand your idea, they might encourage you. So it can be a two-way process. Look for the environmental changes that create opportunities. And you do brainstorming by yourself. You just think in your head like what you think is going to be the need and how I can fulfill that. Look at the daily frustrations, like when you go, there's a bus is not there, too much traffic, and you know, and like students when they go to university, they don't get the laptop or the connectivity or internet. So any problem that is there that needs a solution, and when you provide a solution, you will get your money. So that's how the businesses are kind of flourishing. I was just following a news that was like in America, I think it's in New York or some city, and there's a Saudi guy who was in the university. He wanted to go to get a coffee at night, but he couldn't get coffee at night because there may be many pubs and bars, they were open, but no coffee was available. So what he did was he started selling coffee and chai in a card, okay, and that became very popular because there were many people that wanted to find coffee at that night, at that particular time at night, and that business is flourished to a level that now he has got numerous outlets that they open at the night, so that the problem, that frustration that is there, that is, you are not the alone who is facing this, and if you're going to provide a solution to that, you'll get a huge business opportunity. Examine patent files like United States Patent and Trademarks Office. This is a must, because if there is somebody has already registered a patent, then you might face a problem, especially when you'll be trying to register your business idea. You also need to do some internal analysis. This is like potential entrepreneurs often have several ideas, but need to identify one to analyze it. Okay. Today I was just listening to Sam Altman. Do we know who is Sam Altman? I think it's Altman. I think he is the CEO of the ChatGPT or some AI company, And he was saying like a brilliant idea, like idea execution is 10 times better than your brilliant idea. Okay. So your idea is, most of the time, if you are not properly executing it, you probably say 10 to 100 times better than just having a brilliant idea with yourself. So idea execution is all. So in-depth analysis may lead to scrapping the idea and starting over. So sometimes you'll see your own personal strength and weakness and try to see like which idea will be linked with your personality. Analyze requires focus, time, and financial incentives or investments. So you'll have to look like how much time you can give to this idea, what are the financial investments, and what is your focus. So focus must be on one idea at a time. So don't try to, because at young age, you'll be fascinated by lots of ideas, but not all the ideas should be started at one point. So one means to identify which business to pursue is through a gap analysis. Analyzing the gaps, how do you decide that a sufficient business opportunity exists and that you have resources necessary to take the advantage of that opportunity? So what is important? There should be sufficient business opportunity, and then you should have sufficient adequate resources. As I gave you the example of this Saudi student who started this coffee card in America, he must know that there must be adequate amount of students they are facing or general public they were facing this problem, because they will contribute, they will buy, and then you will get the revenue. Okay, so you should have an understanding of what is the resources that you have or you will be required. Using your list of 3 of the 5 ideas, so shortlist your 5 ideas, 2 true ideas, 3 ideas. This is kind of a funnel approach to develop a chart that examines the issue that might impact success. So that will help you to focus on the ideas. And then you'll also be focusing on the competitors. The competitor exists for every business and it is contemplated. So you cannot avoid competitors. Entrepreneurs should list who exists in the competitive set and why they believe that they are competitors for their new businesses. And then they should also think like why they consider they are providing something superior as compared to competitors, because competitors are always serving the market. Now, having said this, when I was looking at Facebook, and that time I was thinking like this is the big thing. So I was not expecting that any other social media will come and they will take that will be accepted by the general public. But we have seen that will be accepted by the general public. But we have seen that after Facebook, Instagram was also very popular. Instagram, sorry about my writing. And then we saw Twitter. And then we saw Snapchat. Okay. Do you know something else, some other social media platforms that I'm well aware of? Yes, TikTok. Thanks, this is very popular. Yes, LinkedIn. Very good, thank you. TikTok, okay, and LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn was prior to these Instagram and things like it was somehow close to Facebook, because I'm using LinkedIn for quite a long time now. So anyways, can you see how they have segmented the market? So here we had all the social media followers here, so they had huge market. Then the Instagram provided a distinctive features. Twitter offers you distinctive features. Snapchat is different. TikTok offers different market, and LinkedIn is solely for the professionals. That's why you have to clarify what are your competitors and how I should be offering my why we consider our products would be superior or they'll be fulfilling any different gap. This is the idea I was talking about. Nongfu spring water is basically, normally when we talk about any business idea, we are talking about technology and all this thing. But the entrepreneur, you'll watch this video or you can search it on internet. He come across this problem about the bottled water, pure bottled water, drinking water, the way we use it in Saudi Arabia. And he started the spring water and selling this. And he has made $1 billion companies in China. Okay, so the point is he started off a real problem for the pure spring water, and then he offered this bottled water and has become one of the major businesses in China. So a business idea can be very basic and can be very simple. So it should not always be a tech idea. Okay, so even a small business bottled water can also be a very successful business idea for you if you think about it. Okay, let's take a lesson from some famous entrepreneur, and today's famous entrepreneur is Jeff Bezos, which I always refer to him. Jeff Bezos, Jeffrey Preston Bezos, is the founder of the Amazon, we know that, which is the largest e-commerce marketplace used by millions of customers worldwide. A brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. So what is this quotation? That a brand is like, you should treat brand as a person. So the way a person is known by his abilities, his stance, whatever his character is, similarly brand has its own character. And the much people like about you is you can earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. So people look at you, how are you doing those hard things efficiently as compared to your competitor. If there's only one lesson you can learn from Jeff Bezos, it is start small and then grow big. So he started off with very small, and then they grow up their business over a period of time. I like him, like when he was he started working, delivering orders by himself. One of his friends, he says, one day we were just packing orders and I was on the floor and my friend was also on the floor with both hands and knees on the floor. And our knees and elbows, they were aching. And my friend said to me, Jeff, we need to do something about it. And he says, at that time I thought like he's talking about like we should buy some gloves or knee pads. He said, why can't we buy a table for packing? And then he was laughing to himself like I couldn't think about this idea. But so then he bought this packing table on which they were just packing, wrapping, and then delivering those orders to the customer. But the point which I gathered is like how they started small and they did all the struggle, but now they have $1 billion company that is standing over there. Okay, by this quote from Jeff Bezos, we have reached to the end of our today's lecture. So these are your review questions. You have to based on your education, what are the skills you have that could be the basis for a business. So you can work on this question and you just you can jot down the answers for yourself. This can be a good key points for you to be moving forward. Based on your hobbies, what are the skills you have that could be the basis for a business? What are your top 3 personal skills? What things do you like doing best? So if you would be able to answer these questions, there are good chances that you can list down, jot down some practical, workable business ideas. And then from there onward, we can move forward and we can say like how we can go and implement those ideas. Okay, so this is the end of today's lecture. If you have any questions, please write down and text to me. If everything is clear, we can complete today's session.